Hello, my name is Maya. I'm studying to receive a doctoral of arts, and Rasa is my supervisor. And what I'm doing, I've been taking pictures of all the food I'm eating for a bit more than 5 years now. I have a huge database. It's like more than 5 million pictures now. You can see this is how my phone looks like. It's a mixture of cat photos and food photos. And I started my database by writing down what I'm eating, because you can get like applications that will calculate your calorie intakes for many reasons. But what I realized, it's not always convenient, it's not always possible, because you're sitting at a restaurant and then I'm writing down in my phone or in a notebook what I'm eating now. So I realized just taking a picture, because of that picture, I can almost remember all the food I've had in 5 years. So it's a very strange feeling that I can go back 5 years and look at a picture and think, oh, that was a nice evening, I had this nice dinner, and I remember what I did because of this picture. So I'm now systematically reorganizing my database and again, calculating how much I'm eating, what kind of foods I'm eating, and trying to make these data visualizations to see patterns. Because of these 5 million pictures, I feel that if I put them in kind of a, well, visualization is a good name for it, because I don't always look at the content of the picture, but I've made projects where I would just look only at the color. And every month, every year, the color changes. What is the average color of the month? So in January, it will be orange, because I will be eating oranges and mandarins. In summer, it will be green, because I'm eating a lot of greens and cucumbers and salads. And in the rest of the month, it's kind of brownish, because, well, just potatoes. As a true Latvian, I eat a lot of potatoes. And it's sometimes I try to do small funny things with this, because it's just nice. So this is something I did. I couldn't sleep one evening, and so I made a visualization of all the pizzas I had this summer. And also I have a visualization of all the watermelons I've had this summer. So I'm now having an idea of creating my average watermelon, or my average tomato, or average pizza maybe. Well, I can tell you that it's mushroom pizza. Don't need to calculate that. And just putting them in some kind of list, I'm starting to see patterns. And moving forward from those patterns, I started to grow food. My highlight was when I grew 60-70% of all the food that I had that year. And we, as a people, we eat about 1 ton of food per year. I'm a vegetarian, so maybe meat eaters will have slightly different statistics. But so I grew about 600-700 kilograms of food, including potatoes. And starting from that, I tried to develop some kind of systems where how could I grow the food more easily? Because to get to those 60%, I was just full-time farmer. I reorganized my country house garden, and I was just digging soil starting from April until November. And that's just unreasonable for a normal person. Nowadays, if you're not a farmer, you really don't want to do that. So going from that, I started to develop these systems. How can the idea is kind of just throw some seeds and come back in 3 months to collect the food. So that's what we will be doing in the workshop. So I hope you will join me. It's an open workshop, so anyone can come and join me. And we will try to build a small self-sustainable system that you can put on your windowsill and grow tomatoes. I started growing tomatoes because I really like tomatoes and I eat a lot of tomatoes. And so this almost 1,000 tomatoes, that's to prepare for this. I counted how many tomatoes I had last year, and it's that amount of tomatoes. So almost 1,000 tomatoes, and I grew almost all of them myself. And these that you can see here are my data visualizations that I made. Like a full circle would be 1,600 calories. That's for me. That's something I should eat. And when I made these pies and I calculated how much calories I'm eating, you can see there were almost no days when I would have just the one pie. I always had a pie and a tiny bit. So that's also for me that was interesting. And I used this material. It's a candle material. So we also did a small candle workshop with children where we calculated how much the children are eating, and we made a small candle with that if we would burn the candle, we would get the same amount of energy as the food. So, and in that workshop, we were also talking about, well, how healthy the food is. And so this is someone's potato dinner. In my house, I have a green space. That's my indoor, well, it is, well, a greenhouse, but inside. I have a balcony, and I have my own room. And those are the spaces where I'm growing my food now, with the mindset that I'm trying to grow food as easily as possible. So this is now like a winter time photo. It's, well, cold still, so everything is small. I haven't planted everything yet. So that is the biggest space where I will grow my food, also the balcony. And for me, it's very easy to know what I need to grow because I calculated it. So I'm kind of trying to teach people also to grow food, but I'm sticking with potatoes and tomatoes because they grow very easily, and it's a very easy first plant to grow. And we made a public garden in a space that is, rented by like a group of boys. And they are renting the space to do parties there and to hang out there. And they came to me with kind of a list of things that needs to be done. They wanted food, so that's easy. And they wanted the drunk people not to fall off the balcony. So those were my tasks. So I was trying to create the design for this garden to keep the drunk people away from falling off. And that's what we did. And we ended up with a very, quite a large garden. And we grew a lot of food and a lot of potatoes and a lot of tomatoes and some hot pepper and some salad. And they were quite happy at the end with the food that they got because they were actually eating the food. We had a bit of a funny misunderstanding in the middle, because at some point I got a call asking, "Hey Maya, when are you coming to water your garden? It's kind of dying." And that was for me a bit of a, not really a wake-up call, but a bit of strange feeling that I made this for you. This is not my garden, and you should, well, learn to be able to take care of it yourself. I realized this is not the default for everyone. When you see a dying plant, not everyone will get the instinct, I should water this. So this year, we are starting again. In Liepa, it's quite cold. So we are starting slowly, but we have planted now strawberries and some tomatoes and the hot pepper, because they really like the hot peppers, and some cucumbers. And so when the weather will get nicer, we will try to reorganize this garden in a new and maybe hopefully even better way. This is a picture of dinner one day when one of the persons, he said, well, he didn't have any food at home, so he went to the garden to collect some food, and he made a nice dinner from this. So I really like the idea. And well, this is what we try to start the garden too early, and it's about 2 to 7 degrees during the night. So everything is growing indoors under grow light. So that's not very sustainable, and but I hope it will get a lot warmer very soon. And to prepare for this workshop, this is also a part of my room, one shelf. It's very pink because of the grow light. And I grew about 70 plants, and we will learn to clone the plants tomorrow. And we will put them in a hydroponic system and talk about the difference between hydroponic system, aquaponics, different types of aquaponics, and how to use water to grow food instead of soil, because indoors water is a bit cleaner than soil, so it's nicer to put it indoors, just for a normal person who doesn't live in a mad laboratory like I do. But that's my presentation, and I hope to see you and meet you in my workshop tomorrow.
Okay, thank you. So you know that how much you eat actually for 1 year. Yeah. But Maya has a solution, individual one, so actually nearly 60% you can grow yourself. So maybe we can live more than 10 billion people on this planet if everybody will do like Maya. So any questions for Maya?
Okay. Thank you, Maya. That was brilliant. So interesting. And interested in just how do you take it further? Do you see yourself working with maybe larger groups? I'm interested in how you met the group of boys. Did they come to you? Was it advertised?
No. They called me, invited me, but they are some of them are my friends, so they knew what I'm doing. I've tried doing workshops in a high school, but it's because of this disconnection between now we are doing something, and after that I go home. So I forget about it. Like this is the disconnection between what I feel is happening now with kind of normal people. I say normal people who are not actually interested in growing things. So I'm trying to reconnect, thinking about how to teach the children. I work mainly with children. That this plant is your friend. So the same way how you turn on an application on your phone to pet a cat or play a game, the same way you wake up in the morning, I'll go water my tomatoes. And to kind of include this in your normal life, that's when you see a plant dying, it's your responsibility because the plant is your friend. And this is like a process. We are doing small workshops here and there in the high school. They are not really there yet, but I have some clients, some children who will come to me when they are interested in the growing things, and so that's how I'm trying to do this. Like starting with my local high school.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah.
How you do your data mining? You already showed your pizzas and watermelons. Do you tag your photos? Do you use metadata?
Yeah, well, that's another nice thing about having photos. I haven't used this data yet because it is a bit sensitive. When you see the background in the photo, it's not only the food that you see. You can also see where I am at the moment. Like this, the pink one, that's my carpet. So I'm at that moment I'm sitting on my floor in my room and eating, probably watching TV, petting my cat, and having a sandwich. The white table, that's my work table, and so I recognize the environment, but also they are all tagged with all the information that the phone is offering me. But it's quite sensitive. I don't want to share this information where I'm having my ice cream, for example, because it is kind of visible in the picture, but it is also a bit strange to tell people how exactly many ice creams I've had while driving a car, for example. So because it's, unsafe, you shouldn't eat while you're driving. And how to deal with that, that's also part of my research.